When you're ready.
Today, we will be finding an answer to the question, does mental illness associated with sports call for more medical attention? I say yes.
Maybe turn it on. Is it on?
Oh, no, it's not. Should I start over?
You decide. It's okay.
I'll start over.
Okay.
Today, we will be finding an answer to the question, does mental illness associated with sports call for more medical attention? I say yes, because of the negative health issues that are associated with more intense sports. We will be discussing the issue through three main points of emphasis: sports development as athletes get older, mental illness in sports, just a broad perspective, and then Dolores Lessings through the tunnel, its implications on the issue, and then I will be presenting my own solution to the topic. Adolescent years for many are marked by school, hanging out with friends, and primarily sports. Youth sports are seen as a way for children to make friends, let out energy, and be part of a team. Many people associate youth sports, thus, with a better mental health. However, as kids get older and the sports start to become more intense, the risk of the sports becoming a hub for mental illness increases. Mental illness, as defined by Matt D. Hoffman, is the state of well-being where a person realizes their own abilities, can cope with the common stressors of life, can work in a productive manner, and is able to contribute to the community. On the other side, mental illness, as described by the American Psychiatric Association, is any changes in actions, thoughts, or emotions which may lead to relationship, social, or employment issues. Many assume that mental illness isn't prevalent in sports because of the main mental illnesses that are associated with youth, which are anorexia, depression, and eating disorders. But players are more susceptible to the previously mentioned mental illnesses, as well as other deeper mental illnesses. Sports psychiatry was mostly established in the National Organization for Psychiatry in 1994. The study and prevention of mental illness in sports has a few obvious implications, such as head trauma and concussions, drug abuse and doping, performance enhancement, overtraining, ADHD, or eating disorders. However, the mental issues associated with athletes stem far deeper. From its beginning, the sports psychiatry community noticed that many health issues in sports stemmed deeper than what they had originally thought, mainly through depression, anxiety, and body image issues. Their patients started describing even worse mental illnesses, where some even described some signs of PTSD or schizophrenia. Studies have shown that competitive athletes are more prone to mental illness than non-athletes. Prime examples of this are college athletes. A study from Heather Ryan on student athletes and mental health experiences found that student athletes are more prone to substance abuse, anorexia, bulimia, and depression. These mental illnesses most likely stem from performance anxiety, stacked upon their already insane academic and extracurricular schedules. Performance anxiety is the fear of not living up to a set standard, such as a certain look, a certain time, or a certain score in an event. When this gets out of hand, it can send athletes into a false and negative body or self-view. The stimulus article, Through the Tunnel, by Doris Lessings, displays a prime example of the performance anxiety-related struggles that athletes face. The article follows a boy, Jerry, who goes with his mother to the beach, where he meets up with a group of older boys. Jerry is rejected from the group when he isn't able to dive through an underwater tunnel like the other boys. Over the following days, Jerry trained until his nose bled, and on his grand attempt, he almost died, but he succeeded. Through the Tunnel shows the great lengths that people go through to meet a set standard. When Jerry felt that he wasn't good enough for the older boys, he began putting himself in danger and showing depressive symptoms, which set an example for what might cause college athletes to feel such high rates of depression. The story also displays the secret struggles that many student athletes have to face when competing. On the outside, Jerry seems so motivated to swim through the tunnel and ambitious. However, Jerry is actually experiencing performance anxiety, where he puts himself in danger to meet the standard that was set upon him by the older boys. Relating this to competitive athletics, when the competitors don't feel good enough to meet any set arbitrary standard, whether it's body figure related, performance related, etc., the athletes face a similar problem to what Jerry experienced, where he started showing depression and performance anxiety. To help treat problems such as performance anxiety and any mental illness in athletes in general, there needs to be a better stigma on mental health services in the sports community. In an NCAA study, it was found that 90% of athletic trainers believed that anxiety was a problem within their student athletes. When such high percentages of athletes display ill symptoms, one might think that the usage rates of healthcare facilities must be high as well. However, one source reporting on the usage of mental care resources explained that facilities have a negative connotation, resulting underutilization by student athletes. If counseling services were better marketed and more common, then more student athletes would be able to receive the help they have because the stigma would be better. However, the stigma won't be removed solely based off of how marketable it is. The responsibility to make healthcare services more common lays on the shoulders of all athletes. That being said, I'm counting on all athletes that are listening to receive proper medical attention for any mental illnesses that they are going through, not only for their own sake, but for the sake of those who look up to them as well.
Thank you. All right, a couple of questions. How did your research question evolve as you moved through the process?
Yeah, I was originally going to look at how fear versus obsession plays into athletes' mental health. But as I started to look through some of my sources, I started to notice that the main issue was whether mental health was actually a problem or not, because it kept getting brought up, whether it was a problem in comparison to non-athletes. And so when I started to figure out that that was more of the issue, I changed to just like an overview of, does mental illness require more medical attention? Because maybe someday I'll go back into researching fear versus obsession, but right now I feel like the main issue is just that more people need to hear about this problem.
Okay, all right. What are the implications of your findings to our community?
After hearing a presentation like this, many might think that I am against adolescent sports. However, I think that adolescent sports are a good thing. I am involved in sports. However, I just think that from this conclusion, people should just be more aware of the mental health applications that sports may have on a person, and they should be willing to seek help whenever it's needed before they think about partaking in sports.
Okay, thank you. All right.